Hello, hashtag CDC Whistleblower. This is Dana, and I have Candace at CES Dave, and I have Timothy Welsh at Tanner's Dad, and I have Tanner, who I think is sitting on his lap going through some magazines. So there might be a little bit of noise today. We're back to our old way of doing things, and some birds chirping at Candace's house. So, I know it got kind of ugly out there for a few days with the measles hearing, which was tinyurl.com/vax hearing. But now the landslide has begun, and what's happening is everything that we've ever wanted is happening, but with a fight. For example, this meme that Tim found goes to vax support plummets, and it's a Washington Post article that shows that every time the media hyped Ebola, hyped mumps, hyped flu, hyped measles, the quote is, news coverage of vaccine controversy drives down support for vaccines. So there's tons of this kind of news coming out now if you look for it. This is just /war on medical freedom. Bottom line is they're saying that if you're vaccinated for measles, you have a 99% chance of not getting measles, and then you have a 99% chance of not being exposed to measles, and yet we're using it as an excuse to mandate injecting people. So, Tim, what are you seeing on the feed right now that's working?
Well, Kelly Fincher is doing a great job doing all 5 things with her memes for Valentine's Day, connecting it back to vaccine injury. Everybody is still fighting hard, and I think we're beginning to see even some interactions from people where they insinuated that we were very well funded, and I questioned some of the anchors and said, I've been tweeting you for 6 years, and some of them actually retweeted and interacted on some of those things.
And again, let's remind everybody that Gandhi has been proven right multiple times. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. I really feel like we're transitioning from fight to win, don't you?
Absolutely. It's rewarding to see our talking points and our information being used in articles, and to have the likes of David Kirby and Kennedy write articles. And some of the articles are much more solid now. And again, they keep saying East Coast liberals, and then they announced Philadelphia now has 86% uptake on the MMR vaccine, which is the lowest on the East Coast.
So let's go through a few of these data points. We found a bunch of these fact or myth memes. And one of the big ones that happened early on to make all of this thing go south was that Snopes came out and said that the whistleblower is a myth. It's not even real. So we got Brian Hooker on the phone yesterday, and at 4:15 on tinyurl.com/Snopes redacts, you will hear Brian Hooker, who this all came out of, Dr. Brian Hooker, talk about exactly that. We also had these are really good. Really try to use these with people that are questioning this stuff. Who is more contagious? That's about shedding. Vax, measles, that talks about getting measles from the MMR shot. Who is more contagious? That's about shedding. This one's about the Vax collapse, which is Gary Null writing all the issues down. This is Honey, who did an unbelievably fabulous job on an NBC interview. That's our lovely Tanner. Let's go to Candace's page. Can you talk about the Colorado thing, Candace?
Yeah. Colorado was the first state in the union to support a bill on parental rights. So we've decided we're all going to move to Colorado. And I love the one, War on Medical Freedom.
Okay, let me see that one. There. So this one right here basically is the Republicans took over the voting bloc in Colorado and voted in a parent bill of rights, which is what we need to have happen in every state. Because again, people need to realize the current interpretation of the Constitution and Bill of Rights is that this is a state issue and not a federal issue. So anytime you see something that they're trying to decide at a federal level, you need to first question whether or not that begins to erode the Constitution as a reserving your rights kind of thing. And there's a lot of different ways they're pushing. It's interesting because when I first worked with Ron Paul, I actually realized that when we first started down this path of eroding medical freedoms was with the seatbelt law. And I know the seatbelt law has saved millions of lives. I know everybody, 90% of people agree with the seatbelt law. But the second that we federally mandated something to protect you from yourself, it's an incredibly slippery slope right down to, what are they going to have, scales and cholesterol meters at the entrance to the McDonald's? I mean, we've now set precedents with the seatbelt laws that pretty much at a federal level, if they can come to consensus, they can mandate anything they want. And so having Colorado push back like this is a huge step in the right direction. And then this is Vax Break, just talks about an outbreak that the patient 0 was fully vaccinated. And let's really quickly talk about the myth of patient 0. There's never a patient 0 ever. There's always a patient 0 from the patient before, from the patient before. So it's another one of those myths like herd immunity. They promote so that they can tell you what they want to tell you to sell their shots. And we still have to push back the mandates. This is vaxvote.com, which has everything you're going to need to do the things we need to do in real time, which is, I lost my toolbar. Sorry. Vaxvote.com has the White House petition we need to sign to not have any mandates for vaccines. It has the NVICadvocacy.org where you need to sign up to help push back these mandates. The mandates is where the focus is right now. Anything else, Tim, as far as guiding new tweeters?
Just be a real person, make friends, and really tell your story, get them to tell their story.
So it's a great time to interact. We still want to ignore all trolls. You don't want to interact with any trolls. How I am looking at this now is I really think the media is going to back off of this. In the last 3 days, Tim, have they said measles more than in passing in the last 3 days that you know of?
I haven't even heard it in passing.
So it's going to be like Ebola. Remember when they got you all scared shitless of Ebola? Everyone's going to have Ebola. It's going to be everywhere. And then all of a sudden, Ebola was gone. And nobody said boo about it again. Then we had the thing with mumps. Then we had the thing with the flu until they finally admitted that the flu shot, it was quote-unquote 23% effective. Then they pushed measles, Mickey Measles Mania. And now there's a huge backlash that we've seen. What was the meme for that one? Who has the backlash? Do you know what that one was called? Vax rates plummeting? What was that one? Does anybody know? Oh, this one.
It's right there.
Vax support plummets. And this is an article that shows that the more they talk about it on the news, oh, that's not good. The more they talk about it on the news, the less likely people are to actually vaccinate, let alone support a mandate. So I think the media is going to shut up now. They've exhausted their ability to talk about this stuff. So now our job becomes fight off these mandates before they become law. If they become law, it's 10 times more difficult to take them back than it is to slip them in the first place. So it all becomes NVICadvocacy.org. We need to sign up. What else, Tim? It's looking fabulous. I love this one. This one's just cutest ever. Tim, anything else? Oh, I have one more. If you go to tinyurl.com/BrianHooker3, that's the newest update from Brian Hooker on everything that's going on. Here they're muzzling officials. Just, great thread of information. Keep up the great job, Kelly Fincher. You're on fire. And we love you, and we'll see you on Twitter unless Tim or Candace, you have anything else to say?
We need to bone up on our chops for local media. We
Yes.
need to hit the media, and we need to get together and come up with our speaking points and get to it.
And we're going to do that. That maybe the next Tad Tips we'll do a mock interview where we have a really adversarial reporter asking really ridiculous questions and then whatever comebacks we think might make sense. So we love you guys. We will see you on hashtag CDC whistleblower for Break a Billion so there can be one less vaccine victim. Thanks.